So knowing these things and knowing you need to become this person before you can just kind of demand success from your hard work really, really helped me realise like I'm not a failure, I'm just not there yet. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby and I make productivity and corporate lifestyle videos, and today we are talking about how you are not a failure and how you can unlock your true potential. Now, I was literally umming and ahhing for ages on whether to make this video because I thought, like, who am I? Like, who do I think I am to be sitting here and telling you all like how to unlock your true potential, like how you're going to be successful, as if I'm like the epitome of success. Is that the word? Epitome? But the reason I wanted to make this video was nothing to do with that. It's not me saying this is how you should be successful, guys. Because I've struggled a lot before with like failure holding me back. So instead of like failing at something, being like, okay, cool, I'll do it better next time, I feel like it's really gotten to me. And I think that's like a personality trait that comes with someone who always wants to do well, always strives to do their best, always trying to like improve, like self-improve, improve in their work. And I feel like those two things come together of like finding failure like quite a difficult thing. And I feel like you guys on my channel are possibly very similar, because if you like kind of interested in my videos of like self-improvement, productivity, you also then may find it difficult when things go wrong and like you're studying and then like you fail an exam or something. It's really hard when you put so much effort into something and then you fail. And I think that's what I've struggled with quite a lot in the past. It's like putting so much energy into things and it like not working, and then I'm like, what am I not doing good enough? And it's held me back because it's so hard to continue taking steps when it's not going well. Anyway, I've had like so many thoughts of this. I've read like books and like things like that, and I've kind of had an epiphany of like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I used to think that way, now that I think this way. And that's what I want to share with you guys, like my new way of thinking that's basically just opened all these doors that I would originally have closed to myself because of the feeling like a failure, the thought of failure, things like that. So we are going to talk about how not to do that and how to unlock your true potential, because you are not a failure. Okay, so first things first, we're going to really quickly run over like what makes us feel like failures. And these are like obviously things that make me feel like failure, but also I think are quite, what's the word? What is the word? What is the word? Common. Quite common reasons that people can feel like a failure. That is the word. How did I not remember that word? Embarrassing. Okay, anyway, and I'm going to run through these really quickly because I think they're quite obvious and we don't need to sit here and learn the obvious. We're learning interesting new ways to think. Okay, so the first thing that can often make us feel like a failure, setting ourselves unrealistic goals. Now, you may think like, oh, well, if you set yourselves like really big goals, you're more likely to at least get halfway. And yes, correct, like reach for the stars. And what's it? Reach for the stars, you'll land on the moon. But if you set yourself these goals and you only get halfway and you know that you're going to tell yourself like, oh, I didn't achieve that, like, oh, I didn't do well enough, all you're doing is setting yourself up to feel like a failure. So when you set goals, they need to be realistic. Otherwise, you're actually just going to end up holding yourself back. This is so common to be like, oh, I'm going to do this massive thing, and then like not put any kind of plan into action to achieve it, not achieve it, and then be like, oh God, like look at me, I'm just a massive failure. But really, the error there was just setting an unrealistic goal. It wasn't that you can't do it. It wasn't that you're incapable. It was just like, why did you set yourself such a big goal with absolutely no action plan and absolutely no capabilities to get there in this time period or at the moment? If I said I'm going to run a marathon next week, in a week's time would be a massive failure because I couldn't run a marathon. I've not trained. I've not given myself enough time. It's just impossible. So we don't do that. We don't set unrealistic goals. Next thing we do not do is compare ourselves to unrealistic situations. Now, we don't even need to talk about this much. Everybody knows. You scroll on social media and all you've done is compare yourselves to everybody's highlight of their day. So you're maybe having a bad section of your day, you look at somebody else's and think, oh, everybody else's life is great, or so-and-so is just so successful, look what they've just posted. And honestly, social media is such a big fat lie. Like, I could literally wake up tomorrow and take like snippets of my life and look like some ridiculously successful millionaire that lives in like central London, and like, I don't know, I could easily make a video that looked like that, and I'm not those things. So please trust me when I say social media is a big fat lie. You already know that, just had to be a point, had to be raised. But now we're going to get into the epiphany that I had. So the way I struggled with failure is like, I work really hard at everything. Anything I go to do, I work really hard at it. And I've kind of like, for the past, how old am I now? 22. Like 7 years of my life, I've had this assumption that like, if I just work really hard, I'll be really successful. Like, that's it. Cool. So I just worked really hard and I was like, cool, like I'm just going to be really successful. This is great. I'm happy to work hard and I'm happy to like get the rewards at the end. This is what I want. So I like viewed this like thing up there like, oh, there's success. I've just got to work hard and I'll get it. Like, that's how I viewed it. but actually success is something that you become. So if I look at me 2 years ago, who kind of thought she'd work hard and just get this success thing, what's really interesting when I like look back and like look at my behaviour and look at like who I was not ready for success. And the reason I didn't realise this at the time is because I thought it was just something that I would just have, like, you know, I'd just be me and I'd be how I was and I would just get success by working hard. But what I've kind of come to the realisation of is like, you have to become someone that is successful because you can't handle that success otherwise. So if someone had knocked on my door 2 years ago and said, oh my gosh, Abby, you've worked really hard, like here's your success, like I know that doesn't happen, but for an example, I would not have been ready to handle success. Like if I was like very influential, if I was like very rich, I don't think I was in like the headspace or the maturity level to handle those kind of things the right way. I hadn't become someone who'd been through enough and learned enough to be able to handle success correctly. Think of it this way, like why do you think there's so many lottery winners that go bankrupt? Someone literally knocks on their door and says, congratulations, here's £100 million. These people have literally just been given what we're like calling success. They don't know how to handle it. And this is why there's all of these stories of like lottery winner, bankrupt, because if someone just hands you something and you've not gone through the lessons of like how to handle it, you've not like developed as a person to get to that stage, you don't know what to do with it. And so what do I mean by become successful? So you need to adapt into somebody that can handle the level of success that you are looking for. And so with this epiphany, I kind of stopped viewing myself as like, okay, you are a failure, you have not achieved this, and more like, oh, I've not actually become the person I need to be yet that can handle that. I've not become the person that I want to be that's going to have this success. Like, it's not me, it's the person I am becoming, which means like I will become successful as I become her. But right now, like, she's not there. And so I looked into this a bit more to see if like other people had this epiphany, and obviously they had. So one quote from Jim Rohn, who's an American entrepreneur, motivational speaker and author, said, "Success is not something you pursue. What you pursue will elude you. It can be like trying to chase butterflies," which is literally what I was saying it felt like before. Success is something that you attract by the person you become. Guys, this is literally the epiphany. And another quote from someone called Darren Hardy, who is a New York Times bestselling author, speaker and advisor, said, "To achieve what you have not, you must become what you are not. You have to grow into your goals." And again, this literally just backs up the point. Instead of thinking like I am a failure, what you need to think is right now, looking at myself in the mirror, like take a long, hard look in the mirror. Can I right now handle the level of success that I want in life? And the likelihood is no, because if you could, the likelihood is you would have that success that you're looking for. So for example, me 2 years ago, like she was not ready for that. And even me now, like I'm not ready for the levels that I want. I still need to become that person who can take on the levels of success that I want. So how are we going to become these people? I can't just tell you, you need to become this really successful person, guys, come on, and not tell you how. So first of all, education. And now I don't mean uni or school, like obviously they're great, but what I mean is investing in yourself with things like books, newspapers, anything that you can read in your field, autobiographies of successful people. Next, to become this successful person that we want to be, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, uncomfortable situations. Because let's think, okay, vision this successful person that you want to become. That person is going to be handling a lot of things, whether it's people, influence, money, anything. That person needs to know how to handle things when they get stressful, when they get uncomfortable. And if you've not been putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, how are you going to grow and how are you going to develop like the skills you need to handle that? Next one, which I've read about recently and I really agree with, is start learning people. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, other people are what make you successful. Not because they come and like help you out, but because usually success requires like other people to support you, whether that's buying your products, whether that's being interested in your work, interested in your content, subscribing to your app. But it's other people really that are going to bring that success to you. So you need to start learning people. You know, what do people want? What are people's behaviors? When you speak to people, really try and read them. And that's something I'm working on at the moment because I think it's actually going to be really, really valuable, and it's going to really help, you know, the person I'm becoming be successful. Next one is work on trying to turn defeat into victory, no matter how big or how small, because even when you become the successful person that you're picturing, she is going to face defeat, and you need to start learning how to turn that into victory, because your defeats might only get bigger as you get more successful. And if you're used to turning those into little victories or big victories, you're gonna just become more and more successful. And the last one, which is really cringe, and you'll have heard it before, is start picturing this person that you want to become, the person who is successful, and start showing up as her. Like, you need to become her. And so if you don't show up as her, she's never gonna turn up. So okay, wake up in the morning, what would she do? What would this person that is really successful that I want to become, what is she going to do with her day? How does she act? How does she talk to people? How does she look at people? What does she think of others? How does she look at herself? You need to start asking yourself these questions. And this takes us to the fact that becoming successful is a journey and it is not a destination. It's about becoming someone who attracts these things that you want, who can handle all the things that you want. And you have to keep doing this throughout life. Like, when you become the successful person, the likelihood is you're going to then want to become someone even more successful, and this then just continues, constantly changing, constantly adapting, basically just, you know, following your dreams, guys. So knowing these things and knowing you need to become this person before you can just kind of demand success from your hard work really, really helped me realize, like, I'm not a failure, I'm just not there yet. Let's not sit here and be like, oh, I'm a failure because I can't do this. It's like, no, I've not given myself what I need to become the person I want to be. You need to start giving yourself what you need, and then you can start becoming who you need to be. Thinking this way and like acting this way really stops failure holding you back as well, because it's not that you are a failure, it's that you haven't given yourself what you need in that moment. And all it does is be like, okay, that's what I need now, I'm going to give myself that, and next time I won't fail that way. So that was the epiphany, guys, and I really hope it's been helpful. I really wished I had like seen something like this when I was like 2 years ago at the stage of like, oh my gosh, I'm just a massive failure right now, and realised that I wasn't a failure at all. I just needed a bit more of everything. So I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or I've just completely baffled you, do let me know in the comments and I'll try and clear that up. But yes, thank you for watching. If you did like the video, please do like and subscribe, and I shall see you in my next video.